You are listening to Prison Poetry, written and narrated by T.K Keighran. Adversity. Out of all the poems I have written, I believe this one has the greatest potential to have a positive impact if the message can be understood. Understanding the role adversity plays in our lives and the power in learning how to effectively use it by viewing it in another light is exponential. Simply by reframing the way in which we view the hardships we face, from a purely negative experience to one of learning, growth potential and opportunity, has the power to immediately take some of the sting out of whatever it is we are going through. This can be the first step towards working through the issue rather than feeling stuck in the middle of it with no way out. That switch from a negative mindset to one of positivity allows us to begin working on the issue in a constructive way. Once you are able to take this constructive approach, you are on the road to overcoming the adversity for which you will be stronger, wiser and armoured for whatever trouble comes later. What do I mean when I say adversity? I define adversity as anything difficult in your life, any hardship you endure. Losing your job, that sucks. That's adversity. A relationship breakdown and the emotional pain you go through as a result, adversity. Suffering an injury, having a car accident, being scammed, beaten up, robbed, financial hardship, illness, etc. You get the drift. Anything that causes us to suffer in some way. For some, it may not be something that happens to them like being robbed. It can be struggling with mental health issues or a drug addiction. Maybe someone's suffering is related to self-esteem issues or self-doubt. Whatever the cause, hardship comes in many different forms. We all have to go through it one way or another. No one wants to suffer adversity, but it's an absolute certainty that we all do. The idea of viewing adversity in a positive light, being an opportunity, may seem very odd. I can feel some of you now thinking that it sounds like utter stupidity. Who the fuck is going to be happy about being robbed, Scott? You idiot. Well, no one wants to be robbed. No one wants to suffer any form of adversity at all. Whether we want to or not is beside the point. It's going to happen again and again, regardless of how you feel about it. You don't have a choice in the matter. The choice you do have, however, is how you deal with that adversity when it inevitably rears its head. When something does go wrong, the initial response is usually, what the fuck? It comes as a shock. We are rarely expecting trouble when it comes, nor are we prepared for it. It usually happens out of the blue when we least expect it. After the initial shock, the next response is, why me? Feeling as though bad luck is unfairly focusing her attention on us. This is a negative victim mentality that doesn't serve us in any constructive way, but it is also a natural response. To be able to recognise it for what it is and then set it aside is a skill worth developing. Now, whether you know it or not, at this point you are faced with a choice. Deal with whatever has happened in either a constructive or destructive manner. Who has had a big argument with their partner, stormed out of the house and gone out drinking? Fairly common male response. I've done this 100 times. Or ladies, have you gone out shopping blowing the budget on new shoes, a dress, a handbag, hair and nails, and a night out with the girls to vent about how much of a prick he is? Satisfying, yes. Constructive, no. As good as it may feel at the time to further piss your partner off, scoring a few extra points against them, it is only adding more fuel to the burning issue that led to the arguing in the first place. It contributes nothing constructive towards solving the problems going on. A more serious example of choosing to deal with adversity in a destructive manner is using drugs or alcohol as a coping mechanism. Substance abuse, self-medicating to get through some current or past hardship or trauma is both very destructive and very common. I am guilty of dealing with the issues in my life in a destructive way in the past. I think we can all lay claim to it at some point. I have turned to drugs and alcohol to self-medicate, leading to bigger problems, which was a major contributing factor to almost all the trouble I ever found myself in with the law, in relationships, and life in general. That led to me finding myself in prison on multiple occasions. This is a very familiar story in prison. Although ending up in prison is an extreme outcome, it's where the road leads for quite a lot of people. People who would never have thought they would ever find themselves locked up suddenly find themselves inside, asking, how did I end up in here? When someone finds themselves drinking alcohol or using drugs, either illicit or prescription, to self-medicate, it rarely ends well. Mostly, the consequences of that would be health-related, both physical and mental. However, it can go beyond that, often causing relationship problems, employment problems, and financial hardship, and sometimes legal consequences. So how can adversity be beneficial? Let me frame it this way. When life is all smooth sailing, who stops and takes stock of why things are going so well? No one. We are too busy basking in God's good favour, enjoying the good things in life that we no doubt deserve. We think this is how it should be. Or
Sample complete. Ready to continue?